and his knowledge, his experience with the world, is that he had a very good balance. Man, completely thriving with passion to succeed and do something big in this world. Every time we talked, he always mentioned about helping someone else. I may not know most of you here, but I can assure you, if you were his friend, I might have heard your name mentioned in some form, because he was that person. He actually wanted to create a global community. He connected people from one walk of life to another walk of life. If you had a business and you needed a loan, he found somebody in the banking industry for you. If you had a problem, a material problem, he was there to connect you with somebody who would be able to help you. He cared for people who seek his advice. He was there. One by one succeed materially and prosper in business, because he genuinely cared about helping others. And he wanted to do something so big and wonderful that the whole community, and he wasn't the person that actually had any kind of bias. You know, for example, if I'm part of a certain community, then I want to be connected to that particular community. So that community should grow in business. He never looked at it like that. I saw his friends from the Smiley community, and they're here, they're with him all over the place. I went to Mayuri's funeral and I was shocked to see we had people from all different walks of life, all shades, all socio-ethnic backgrounds. So this man was not just a man who was a leader in the Indian community, but he was a man that was a leader in the Atlanta community. And so that is the legacy that he left behind. And he never stopped working. This person was very, very dedicated to work. And he also found time to go and party and have a good time. Many of you know. He enjoyed having a good time. He had a lot of friends. He never hesitated to throw a party for his friends. He didn't care how much it cost. You want to have a party? Let's do it. And very, very fast. He never wasted time in making sure his friends were happy. So on this day, for me, the saddest part is I have a son who was born, and he didn't come to see my son's birth. So he said, Veda Sarji, I heard you have a son who was born. But I just want to remind you that now you have no excuse to call me on my birthday and wish me a happy birthday, because it was the same day of my son's birth. It was very passionate. He funded the Atlanta ISKCON Rath Yatra that we celebrate every year. He funded the whole thing. Rath Yatra is celebrated in ISKCON in downtown Atlanta for almost 30 years now. And this man would say, don't worry about anything. I want to make sure this Rath Yatra goes on, because I don't get to go to Jagannath Puri, but it's going to happen in Atlanta. Before me, Balabhadra Prabhu was there, and Rath Yatra was going on. And he would come to the temple and dance and dance and dance. And he would grab people by the hands and make them dance, because he loved dancing. He loved partying. He loved material partying, spiritual partying, just always having a good time. So I know that there are so many other friends of his who are here today. I do not want to take too much time, but I just do want to say that I'm very grateful to each and every one of you for coming to celebrate his life and the legacy that he left behind, the friendship that he shared with all of you. I hope that you will cherish that for the rest of your lives. And hopefully he will never be erased from your memories, and you will carry him in your heart. And I have a very good feeling, knowing that he lived a very balanced life, that he's in a very beautiful, safe, peaceful place. And thank you very much. So I just wanted to end by requesting all of you. It's a spiritual prayer from Kalitaranya Upanishad. If you can just raise your hands, both hands, and if you can please kindly repeat after me. This is just a simple prayer that he reaches the spiritual world in the spiritual sky. Please repeat after me. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Narayanaaya. 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 Om Namo Narayanaaya.
And I really mean that. He had a dream helping more people. He came to me and stated, George, I want to be part of your dream because we can have more people go into business and sustain themselves to help the community. Paul oftentimes told me that when he first came into this country, he had about $700. But he had a heart as big as the Indian Ocean. And he never forgot from where he came from and what he was put on this earth to do. And he simply asked me, if I come in with you, George, to start this bank, to leverage this bank, will you commit to continue to help people? And I said, Paul, that's my mission in life too, to help as many people as I can. And as I look over this room here, I see many, many people that we have helped. And that help came through Sister Paul Singh. So even though I'm sad and I'm hurt and I'm teared up inside, I can take comfort that he is or has helped folks and have earned the right to a joyful, peaceful life forever. So I say to the family of Mr. Paul Singh and to his many friends, his many colleagues, if you remember what that man did and what he did for you, then he would never be remembered, he would never be forgotten in this world. May God bless you, and may God keep you. And I'll say this, God did not make you better than Mr. Paul Singh. Thank you.
Pratap ji was a middle dropout. And I look at all Indian parents, they push their children too much for studies. And we think only through studies we can achieve materialism. And I used to speak, I always tell this, our Pratap ji used to tell me, he said, Swadesh, look at me, I'm in middle school dropout. And he was invited by one of the very respected college in Bangalore. And this college or this university, they have MBA courses for marketing and other subjects. And they invited Pratap ji there and they asked him to address the student and talk about his life story. And there were many other people sitting there. And the students did not clap, maybe they clapped a little bit for other speakers. But when Pratap ji was telling what he is doing, how he did, the students made more claps, or they clapped more for Pratap ji than any other speaker who had graduated from very big schools. And I was telling Pratap ji, I was in some meeting, and Pratap ji introduced himself. He said, oh, I'm also a director in one of the bank in Atlanta. Because I know George and Pratap ji was together in that one. So I said, Pratap ji, please don't say director, because you are not a director. You are board of director. So Pratap ji was a board of director. I don't remember the bank name now, but George and Pratap ji were part of that. So that's how Pratap ji was. That's how he, how he started, where he is. I want to request now Hakeem, can you come and say a few words for Pratap ji?
Hilliard, friend of Paul's. I'm not exactly sure when we met, it was a long time ago. He showed up at my office, introduced to me through someone else about some legal work, but it wasn't too long before we became good personal friends as well. We were close, we would have fun, but Paul and I argued as much as we laughed with each other. We argued because even though I went to law school, he decided that he was a lawyer and was going to tell me how to practice. And that was an ongoing conversation with Paul. Say, hey, you can do this. I have a feeling we can do this. I have a feeling. He always told me I have a feeling that we could do something that I said the law would not allow us to do with the zoning or something like that. And I grew a lot with him because he actually brought a lot out of me that I didn't know I had the capacity to do. We also argued about, he always told me that the Indian community was the oldest civilization in the world, and I said, well, it was Africans. And we always had a debate about that, and he said I needed to come to India. I didn't get there with him, but some of you know that my mother and my godmother took a trip to India with Paul for his brother's wedding. And they still talk about that to this day. I wasn't prepared to speak, and this is just big news for me. But I think Paul's a special guy. You know, like I said, we started out with a business relationship, but I didn't feel that way about Paul. He'd show up at my office whenever he decided to, and I had to stop working and get in the car and go wherever he wanted to take me. And our conversations were probably 10% business and 90% about life. Walking up Stone Mountain together every morning. Now, he lived right next to Stone Mountain. I lived all the way in Midtown, but I had to get up at 7 to come meet him to go at his house to drive to Stone Mountain to walk up the mountain in the morning because he said I needed to get in shape. You know, I just you know, I love that brother, you know, Om and Sam and AJ and the whole family. And I just one other thing he said to me, there's so many stories lessons that he shared with me that I share with everybody all the time. And one of the things he told me, Om was telling me, I hope I don't get in trouble saying this, Om, but he said, yeah, you know, Om is thinking about, he wants to move out of the house. And I don't understand why he wants to move out of the house. Because he says, you know, African Americans, you know, you guys have a whole family living in the same city, and you'll live in different parts of the city in different houses. I don't understand. All the families should live together. I want to be with my family. And I thought about that a lot, you know, because we can live in different parts of the land, and some people are struggling and not. If we were together, it'd be different, you know. And so we were talking about that in the case of Om. He said, I don't want Om to go anywhere. And so I was over the house one day. He said, I want you to come see this house. I'm going to try to convince Om to move into this house. It was across the street from his house. He said, so if they have to move out, at least I can have him within reach. Om loved his family. Paul loved his family. He loved his wife. He loved his children. And he didn't just love them. He let you know how he felt about them all the time. And the last thing I'll share is personal. You know, Paul and I were pretty close, and I was married, had a daughter, and I was getting divorced, and he couldn't understand. He said, what are you going to do? You can't get divorced. What are you going to do with your daughter? And I said, well, you know, it's going to work out. I'm just going to keep doing what I do with her. We're going to spend time together. He says, no. He said, I'm going to pick you up tomorrow. It was a week after I told him I was getting divorced. He showed up at my house with his son, Love. And he wanted me to take my daughter, and he and I, Love, and Asa went to Stone Mountain to the water park, which was pretty funny because I wasn't sure if Paul could swim or not, but he didn't look too good in the water. But we spent the day there with the kids, talking about life, and talking about what it is to be a parent, how important it is, and what we give to our children, and how we can be better. So I guess the message I want to convey is, you know you meet a special person when your relationship with them is personal, and they try to understand you, and the conversation is a healing conversation. Every conversation feels better than the last one. I miss my brother, but I know he is saying, you know, I have a feeling, you know, this is what it's supposed to be. I don't worry about what happens next. He would say that all the time. So I thank you for the opportunity to be here. I do want everybody to know how important and respected that Paul has been to the Atlanta metropolitan community. I don't want that not to be said. He was the best representation of this community in Atlanta, and people from the highest levels of government knew who he was, the mayor, the city council people. When Ramdi Baba came here and did the thing at City Hall, I've got a photo with Paul and Kasim Reed. And I was at City Hall 2 days ago, and the councilperson, Joyce Shepard, came and grabbed me and said, I can't believe it. Everybody in City Hall knows Paul. Everybody in the development world, and I mean, he is just so widely known and respected. And so I just want you all to know that he's been an incredible representation of this community, and I'm so proud to have known him and to have gotten to know so many of you all better through Paul. And I hope this relationship continues and the light continues to shine from Paul. So thank you for the opportunity to be here with you all this evening. Thank you.
And I talked to Pratap and he said, I will think, but can you come? I want to do yoga, and I know you also have interest in yoga. So can we do yoga? I said, yeah, where we can do? He said, on top of the stone mountain. So I said, okay. So if you have to be president, then it means I have to go. So every day morning, I will wake up at 5:30, 6, maybe 5:45, we will be at Pratap's home, and then we will hike the stone mountain, park the cars down, and then hike the stone mountain, and then on top of the mountain, we will do yoga and meditation. Pratap, myself, then I think Muhammad, he used to come, and Hakeem used to come many times. And that's how we became very good friends. We did it entire summer, maybe from March till October or something. So, can I request, I don't know the name, but, Safford.
I am Joyce Shepard, Councilman Joyce Shepard, City of Atlanta. And Paul has several properties and businesses in my district. And actually not just my district, but across the city of Atlanta. I first met him through Mr. Andrews as he was building a gas station on Cleveland Avenue. And then after that, he built several more. But one thing about Paul, once you meet him, you're just not meeting somebody who's a business person like some developers I meet. Paul embraces you. That is who he is as a person. That is his spirit. He is so genuine. As I began to know Paul, he insisted that I come to his house, meet his family, meet all his children, meet everyone in the house. And when I first got to his house in Stone Mountain, I said, Paul, what are all these cars out in the yard? And it was huge. And what I realized is what Hakeem was saying is that in terms of the culture of his community, is that folks all live in the house together. And through that, as I came into his house, they also cook together. You come to the house, you cook, you eat, and then he insists that I go to Stone Mountain. So I've been on a pilgrimage to Stone Mountain to 6 o'clock in the morning for me, meeting him at his house. And then the pilgrimage all the way to the top of the mountain, us doing yoga on top of the mountain and meditating on top of the mountain. But for me, that was an experience. It really exposed me to a culture that I had never experienced, but I embraced it, and it was so beautiful who you all are, and his family, and the culture. And it really gave me, Paul and I, the other thing we had in common is we were diabetics. Paul was a diabetic, I was a diabetic. So that was another bond we shared together. And Paul was always bringing me something from his home country. Joyce, I want you to try this. This will help you with your diabetes. And so he was always making me change my food. Paul was just Paul. He was always trying to get me to come to India, and I never got there. Let me say not only Paul, but Mary. Mary was, oh my God, between Mary, her mother, her family, everyone. Beautiful folks, just absolutely gorgeous. And I would say their spirits will live on forever as I look at their family, his children, his twins, his whole family. I'm just glad that he was a part of my life. And his spirit is here with us today. Thank you all for letting me speak. Thank you.
I will request Mr. Ryan from Payment Bank to speak.
It's an honor to be able to stand up here and say how much I deeply cared about Paul Sneed. We have a lot of different cultures here represented. We worship very differently. But one thing we have in common is when we mourn and hurt for the loss of someone, we all hurt together. And we are deeply hurting and mourning for the loss of Maori and Paul. And I want their families to know we're praying for you. Our friends, our family, we're praying for each of you. And we love you dearly. And I wanted to let you know the last time I was in this building was about 7 years ago, and it was for Navia and Nitty's birthday. Do y'all remember that? They turned 1, and it was a big party. Paul loved to throw big parties. And then not too long ago, about a month ago, me and my son got to enjoy the Falcons game with Love and Paul. And then the next day, we went to Mary Mac's. We loved to eat together. Paul and I, he loved fellowshipping. And he lived life to the fullest. So the family, know that we love and we care for you very deeply. You're in our prayers, love. Love you, buddy. And we're going to pray God's blessings on all of you. Thank you very much.
I want to invite now Lilith to say a few words.
Hello everyone, my name is Lalit Sukyani. I met Paul Vai and the whole family when I had recently moved to the States. And he was my employer back then. This was about 12 years ago. And really coming from a business family, my goal was to set up myself here, have a business going, just get a firm foothold. But I was just cold feet. I don't know, being in a new country, I just did not have the confidence to sort of move forward. While I was working with Paul Vai, I not only learned to sort of have that confidence, become fearless, learn all the tricks and trades there is about the business that he was in, that I'm in also now. 3 years of working with him just completely changed my life. Other than work, on the personal front, when I moved here, I was still meeting people, making friends, making connections. But I did not miss the fact that I was away from my family. I was lucky to have met Paul and Mary Bobby, right after moving here. And a lot of the struggles that people go through when they move to a new country of being like homesick, being away from home, being away from family, is something that I did not go through, which was just completely lucky because of the support that I had from Paul Bai and the whole family. I remember on Sundays, he just called me in the morning. He's like, "What are you doing? I know you're off." So I'm like, "I don't have any plans." He's like, "Just come over, come home, and firstly we'll do puja." So we did that, a couple hours, 3 hours, and then we played cricket. I still remember in the backyard, all, his brothers, Omai, Subhash Bhai, Arjun Bhai, I can't forget those 3 years. Every Sunday, we'll just get together, do puja, play cricket, and if I mention anything about work, he's like, "Today's Sunday. We're not going to talk about work. Call me tomorrow. Let's play cricket." So, I am probably just one person speaking about the love, the support, moral support that I received from the whole family. It's countless number of people who are out there who came in contact with the family and just benefited in so many ways. And I was speaking yesterday at his house that when it comes to karma, right, we all want to do good things in life and just count on our blessings. So I was saying that some of the so many good deeds that he's done in a short span of 49 years old that he was, it's just countless. So the karmic account is just way up the roof. So I know for a fact that he's going to be in a much, much, much better place. We all are going to miss him badly, terribly, but the impact that he's had on so many lives is not going to be forgotten. He's always been an inspiration for me, will always be, and wherever I am today, the success, whatever I've achieved, is Paul Bai has played one of the biggest parts in that, and I'll never forget that. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Lalit. Because it's not Lalit, but all of us, both Pratap ji and Mayuri ji. Whenever I have gone to Pratap ji's home, I don't remember a single day when I have not eaten anything. Because Mayuri ji never let anyone go without food. She never let. I want to request Shivji to please come and sit at once.
Namaste. Besides the business relation which I have had with Pratapji, he was a very inspiring personality. And I remember when 2012, I told him that Baba Ramdev ji would like to come to Atlanta, and I met with Babaji when I was in Delhi. And he said, "Oh yeah, that's a great news. I will be part of, let's book Cobb Galleria. We will bring 5,000. First he said 20,000 people, we will bring it over there. I said, no, 20,000 people, we don't have any capacity to afford that. Then we planned for 5,000 people, and I said, well, it's going to cost $40,000 to book that facility. Oh, no problem, I'm part of you. Come on, you go ahead and book it. That kind of inspiring personality, Pratap ji was there. As everybody knows, that he was full of life. And he was an inspiring personality. And I really pray to God, and I'm sure, like Swami Vivekananda ji left this world when he was only 38. Maybe God has a bigger plan for the great souls to send somewhere to improve. And I pray for his family, friends, and the whole society to please help give us strength, and we love him, and I'm sure his soul will be at some good place. And Om Shanti Shanti.
I will request Tina American to say a few words. She is an immigration lawyer. Yeah, please.
an immigration attorney. And Paul went to several attorneys to help him in his immigration matters. And I was the one to get him to get that green card, and he never forgot that. He has referred lots of people to my office. And I'm trying my very best to help him. I see some of you in here today. Paul would visit my office about every 3 weeks just to say hi. You know? He just wanted to keep in touch. We had great times. We laughed and talked, and as you know, Paul, there's never a dull moment when you're around Paul. Even times when I was feeling down, you know, there's a lot of work to do, Paul comes in unannounced. I would set the work aside, and just a good laugh would change my whole day. I've met his family, his brothers, his wife, his children, adorable children. We have to pray for them. And so I enjoyed my 19 years with Paul. Paul was like an ambassador, you know that. He brought people together. He was a mover and shaker. You heard George say that Paul brought people together in the business field. In many areas, Paul brought people together. He never stopped doing that because he did it so well. He was in my office 2 days before he took his trip, and we talked about business. We talked about the trip. My whole office knows Paul. You know, when he comes in, his voice is so distinctive. And they would hear his voice, and they would say, "Attorney, Paul is here." I wrote some notes because, you know, I didn't want to forget some key points. You know, in one of the visits to my office, I said to my staff, Paul has a piece of everyone inside his heart. And I dare say everyone in here, everyone has a place in Paul's heart. You have a place in Paul's heart. Paul is gone, but he will never be forgotten. He has touched every one of us in some way, and we will love him forever. Thank you for having me to talk with you and to share my moments with you. Please continue to pray for the family.
I want to request now Mr. Mike Patel. He is here, and he was along with Pratap ji, when Pratap ji was awarded Bharat Gaurav Award in UK Parliament. So, Mike, please.
Good evening. I didn't want to meet everyone on a sad occasion, and this was such a shock. You know, I know it's a shock for you, and first losing Mayuri. I've known Mayuri and a father from Alabama. We've grown up, and then I've known Paul lately. I've never seen, I want to liven it up a bit and tell you funny things about Paul. If Paul was here, he'd be very heartbroken because he lost Mayuri. But he'll always look at you and he'll be smiling, and he always comes up with a solution. And so I always used to smile and joke with Paul, and just to joke around, I remember he got an award, most of you may not know, at House of Commons in London. and that was last summer. And he invited me. He said, "How do I go there?" I said, "Here's what you do." I said, "I'll just take you." Well, I happened to be in London, so we went there. I forgot to tell him that, when you go House of Commons, I've been a few times, that Paul, ditched the white jacket, ditched the jeans, but he didn't care. He set his own style, and I think it was a Rajasthani-based award he got, and some of the prime ministers over there. I believe Priti Patel was there, who was a home minister, and she'd met him as well. So he just came for the award, he was leaving, and I was saying one thing. He said, Mike, what shall I leave? What shall I take? I said, I don't know you. I said, who for? He said, Mayur and the 3 kids. And I said, you can't go wrong. So I said, you're going to take Cadbury's chocolates. So he phoned him from the airport because he forgot his so far. So he picks up, I said, just pick everything you want. I could buy another small bag because I said, they're the best thing you can take. So he brought that for Mayuri, showed you. And Mayuri, I've known her for, I think when she was 18, and she reminded me, we were at the house for lunch because with Paul, you always get fed. Mayuri's always cooking good food. And I was surprised that, and I was surprised, sometimes I tell my wife, I was surprised at God that, this thing happened, a freak thing, that even the cruise ships would have known not to let someone go there. And I didn't even think, I know he was going to New Zealand, but then when I read in the paper, 2 Atlanta couples, and I checked, I think before Thanksgiving. And I'm thinking to myself, oh shoot, and I thought it's dead. But when they're hospital, I think they're recovering. And that's the saddest thing, that it's like the movies, people recover, you think they'll be fine. And only about 2-3 weeks ago, when I had Mayuri pass away, I was really heartbroken. Because Mayuri's last request to me at the house was that she was in Orlando at a HOA convention, and she had a picture with Satyanan Sinha. And she said, Mike, can I find that picture? I said, well, I'll go and look for it, because she said, I remember that time. And her dad was there, right? And I know her dad from Nashville, and we hung together. And it's a sad thing that she's like a sister and daughter, but, it's so warm, the people that we lost. And so, with passing of Mayuri, then about 2 weeks ago, I happened to be on my Facebook Messenger, and I could see a light. I wrote Paul a message, and there was a light that showed, oh. And I'm thinking, he's not replying, but I could see that someone was on that message. So I was hoping, I'm thinking maybe he's not replying because he can't type. And I'm telling my wife, I think he's okay now, he's out of coma. And then, because when you know someone is recovering like that, and then the shock happens, it's the most devastating thing. And I just start sad and crying because when I look at the 2 lovely girls that play around and so on, I'm thinking, not him. And that's what I sometimes said. I said, you know what? Is there a God? Especially with Paul, how close he was with Shiv. And the ritual, if you've not been to Paul's house, you know that at least he's more closer to God to me than me, but he was with it. And that what surprises me sometimes, that is there a God? And I just tell everyone else, thank yourself, blessed, you knew a good man. He made a little difference, but made a lot of difference in a lot of people's lives. But when I look and remember Paul, just think of him smiling and joking and always doing something. And I think he brought a lot of happiness and made people feel good for a lot of people. So I'm sad just like the community. I'm sad for Dad. I'm here for you guys. Anything you guys need, And in times like this, community needs to get together, be there for the family. Appreciate it. Thank you.
For last couple of years, whenever I was talking to Pratap, we were talking, and he used to tell me one thing that I want to share. He will say that, Swadesh, all the money that I'm making, or whatever the money I have made, is from downtown Atlanta. And all my customers are African American community. and how can we do to seva something for them. And Bhagavatam Prabhu, if you remember, even we have spoken many times, can we do something for Africa American community? Because we want to do something. We talk, we said we will do, but so far we never came across any good project that we can do something. So if anyone you know, if we can do something, from Seva's perspective, from Pratapji's, what he was thinking, maybe we want to implement that. That is very important. One more thing that I want to share, and it's Pratapji, whatever the time I spent with him, he was like my elder brother. It's not like actually, he was my elder brother from another mother. And all the time, there was not a single moment when I'm beside him and I was not laughing. All the time I was laughing only. And within our community, but there is a new trend now, not trend I will say, but the bad thing happening is almost every week we are seeing people dying in their 40s, high 30s, in mid 40s. It's very unfortunate because we have to, and the other thing is, as of now in our community, there is no support system. I know in local Christian churches help the community. There is a community and they help their community. Same thing with Muslims too. They help as a community, they come together and help each other. In our community, because we are not an organized religion, everyone has a temple or they pray inside home, there is a temple inside home. And only help comes is when, if a family is good, their friends are good, they will get a good support. If that family is not good, there is no support system. So for last couple of years, we are trying to create a system. All of us, Pratap was a part of that. We are creating a family support system. That is the project we are calling. And how to help the families in distress in our community. So, couple of requests that I want to make today to all of you. Maybe make it as it, because today we are seeing at Pratapji, and maybe we can learn. And for all of us, whatever is happening in our community, can we start exercising, sleeping proper? Because lack of sleep, working in the night hours, sleeping late, food not eating properly, can we make our habit that we do yoga meditation every day or exercise, go to gym every day? And it doesn't cost much because we spend so much money on medicine. If we join gym, that will help us. Other thing, that is one thing. I requesting you that all of us, let's start doing that. And second thing is, most of us, we don't have in our community, we have not written the wills. It's very important, very, very important. Today itself we go and write our wills. Even I'm speaking right now, I don't have. And I am already working with, I have already started working on that, but it's very important we do that. These are very important things. I want to request now Lataji or Omji, can you come and say few words? Pandit, can you come and say few words?
Namaste to all. Namaste Lala sir. Namaste Chaos sir. Omkar sir, Arjun sir. Very sorry. Big loss to family, big loss to society. I'm always coming to pujas. He always calls me for pujas. My father used to tell me, whatever we do in this life, we carry to next life, the punya phalati. So coming to this life, we already got one bag that belongs to before life. For next life, we are getting ready one bag. We have to do very good karma. That's what my father told me, teach me. We can do anything, but death is fixed for everybody. One before, after, but fixed for 80 years. A small calculation, we are almost 55, 60. So 85 maximum we can live. 85 minus 65, 25, 30 years we can live on this earth. So night time, if we calculate only 15 years useful time we can live on this earth. We have to do very, very good things, very, very good things. That's what my father told me. Pratapji did very, very great things, very, very good things. Anyway, they reach the field of God. I want to say, Pradhana, Shanti Mantram, and also Narayana Sutra. 2 minutes. Om Prithvi Santa Sagrana Santa Same Santa Srikum Samayatu Antarikshagam Santam Tadvayana Santam Tanme Santakam Srikum Samayatu Yo Santa Sadhyana Santa Same Santa Srikum Samayatu Prithvi Santa Antarikshagam Santam Jo Santam Tisasanti Avantara Dishasanti Rakhisanti Vajasanti Radhikasanti Chandramasanti Nakshatrani Santi Napasanti Oshadayasanti वनस्पतयस्यांतर गौस्यांतर जासांतर सस्यांतर पुरुषस्यांति ब्रह्मस्यांतर ब्राह्मणस्यांतर स्यांतर देवस्यांतर स्यांतर मे अस्तु शांतिः सर्वारिष्ट शांतिरस्तु ओम प्रातरधि यानो रात्रिकृतं पापं नाशयति सायपधि यानो दिवसकृतं पापं नाशयति माध्यन्तरमादित्या भगवधि यानः पंचपादक उपपादकात् प्रमुच्यते सर्ववेदपारायण पुण्यं लभते नारायण साहित्यमवाप्नोति श्रीमन्नारायण साहित्यमवाप्नोति काश्यपसगोत्रोद्भवस्य प्रताप सिंह नामधेयस्य मयूर सिंह नाम्नः शाश्वत स्वर्गद्वार पुण्यलोक ब्रह्मलोक विष्णुलोक कैलासलोक प्राप्तिरस्तु यथाकालतमस्तु सर्वं सगुणमस्तु. As long as I live on this earth, I remember them, I do pray for them. They have to get a god of Brahma, a god of Shiva, a god of Vishnu. Family have to get courage. Please be courageous. Namaste.
Before I start, I'd like to request everybody, please put your hand and please say Vaheguru with me. Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru. I don't know where to start, but I can say one thing. You all know Paul very well, right? Have you ever seen any place where Paul is sitting and place is quiet like this? Never, right? So Pandit said, let's enjoy his life. Ye banda, I'm sorry I have to speak few words in Hindi, and the people who don't understand Hindi, they will still enjoy. I guarantee you for that. ये बंदा कभी भी चुप रहने वालों से नहीं था. You agree with me for that?
Yes.
They never stay quiet. Right? वैसे ही होता था जब wherever he's sitting, we have no choice but listen to him. That's happened all the time to us. Fun guy. Good family person. He's a good father. Good husband. Great community leader. So many good things with him. Lot of bad things too. We know that. Right? We don't want to share that. Or you want to hear that? No. This is what happened, in our life. We do so many things in our life. And when we leave, we'll have so many good and bad memories, but as I can see, he has so many great memories with all of us. That's why we're all sitting here together. We as a friend start a friendly group. It's called Gupshup, like we talk each other in fun way, right? And he was part of that. He was the only person who was not speaking Punjabi in that group. And we discriminate. Say, we know Punjabi means you're not in the group. He said, I'll make this happen. and he was heart of the group. He never missed any group meetings what we have every time. And we don't do any business in that group, to be honest with you. It was just a fun group. We just go end of the day, second Thursday of the month, just to have fun, chill out, enjoy. He never missed those meetings because no matter where he is, the last meeting he joined with us, it was in November. And he was so tired because I believe he came from India that time and he said, you know what, I'm going to make it happen and come to the meeting. He came in a Bahama place. Just want to share a story with you. Sometimes you say something and you believe that God won't listen to you, but God do listen to you sometimes. So you be very careful when you say something. He come and enjoy as we having a good time. And every time when we about to finish the meeting, we all ask each other that who's coming next meeting or not. And he was very perturbed and he said, you know what, it's my dad's birthday in December. We're going to celebrate 100 years. I'm going for vacation with my wife and my kids. I won't be here in December for this meeting. And I'm not going to be here in January as well, because like Swadeshi said, you need to take care of your health. He said, I'm going to go to India and take care of my health and I'll come back. But next two meetings, he raised his hand like this. I'm just wanting to show you how much he loves this group. He raised his hand like this and he said, you know what, next two meetings I'm not going to come. And one of our friends, and we have some rules in the meeting, say, oh nice, you don't come in next two meetings, you are out of the game. You're not going to be part of this group anymore. And the word he said that time is very hard. He said, मर भी जाऊंगा, ये ग्रुप को नहीं छोड़ूंगा. Even I die, I'm not going to leave this group. I'm going to leave this group as a legacy for my family. That was his last word. Came from his heart. And we don't know. Since he was a great bhagat, he was doing a great puja. Bhagwan was sitting probably next to him and listened to him. And he left Gap Shop. He never joined. November was the last Gap Shop he ever joined. December and January, and he never came back. सच्चे इंसान जो ऊपर वाले को बहुत याद करते हैं, भगवान उनकी बहुत नजदीक से होकर I was joking with Sadheshji, and Sadheshji said, we all need to be very healthy, we need to do exercise, And I said, no, we don't need to do, we do exercise in the food. That's how healthy we are. Right? That's the only exercise we have. But Sadheshji, I agree with you. Yes, we do need to take care of ourselves. I'm not going to take any more time. I just want to say thanks to each and everybody, but I would like to invite his heart, the brother and the family member, Omkar. I want you to please don't go anywhere, listen to him, because we all know so much about Paul, but nobody know him more than his brother or his family. And he's the best person to come and talk. I know it's not easy. We're going to give him a big support for him to come and stand here and talk with us on behalf of their family. Please come join me over here. And I'd like to invite Subhash Bade as well. Please come over here. I know Subhash may not say anything. And please come. His family, I want to invite his family.
Om Namah Shivaya. I am Om Shivaya. Subhash, and there's a name for my brother. We are 6 brothers and 4 sisters. We came from a small village in India, from Adilabad. And my older brother, his name is Pratap Singh, he came Hyderabad, city in India, and he became a doctor. And we all each other very loving family. My brother brought Pratap to India, Hyderabad, and he was going to school there. Then we came in Dr. Brother marriage to Hyderabad, and we stayed there. And when we were little, me, Subhash, and Pratap used to go same school. And he was very intelligent in the school too, and he wanted to become very quickly rich, and he was a very loving person. So he never paid attention on the schools. He always wanted to go abroad and do something big. And he started working for going America. He came America, and he wants to come all the brothers to America. He wants to help all brothers. Then he first invited my brother Subhash. He made very hard work to bring him in America. When he came, they worked together very hard. And this brother was Subhash. He used to handle all the store for him, and he was working. And then he met my sister-in-law Mayuri, and they were loving very each other. And then he invited me. He said, "Come home to America. Here, just enjoy." I said, "I don't want to come there. I want to stay here and become something like a doctor, my old brother." Then he said, "No, there is no life. Come here. And I have a big car. You just enjoy." And he made me to try for America, and I tried, and I got the visa, so I came America. And first day when he picked up me, he said, "This is your car." He gave me the BMW. And even I don't know how to drive. And he said, "Go ahead and drive." I said, "No, I don't want to drive." He said, "If it is broke, no problem. Just go ahead and drive." And then we used to stay together, all 3 of them. And I told him, "Why we living in a small apartment? We live big home in India, why?" Then he said, 1 month later, he bought the big house in Eagles Landing. And we stayed over there. And later on, he built a big house at the Stone Mountain. He built like 3 rooms. He said, 1 for Subhash, 1 for you, 1 for me, and 3 big garages. And my sister-in-law was very loving person too. She took care of us like a mother, and he was like a father to us. Whenever we in the store, when I came newly, I didn't like America. He always used to call me and ask me, "Did you eat today? Anything?" When I said no, he don't care wherever he is, he bring the food and give it to me. And always he look after us. And then we moved to the big house. And then I married over there. I went to India, my wife came, we all stayed together. And he was, from the beginning, he was a big devotee of Shiva. And all, we learned from him how to, pray and all. We copy him. And he always used to tell us, don't say yours, mine, this is all ours. And he told my brother Subhash, if anything I make $1, this is going to be for all brothers. 25 cents, yours, 25. Always used to say like that, and he used to say, never say like this, yours or mine. And he was, in our family, he was a big decision maker. And he used to make all the decisions. In India also, he was taking care of everybody. Ours is a big family, like 70 people, he was looking after everybody. And when my sister-in-law died, he promised her, she has 1 daughter, he promised her, don't worry, I'll bring you a daughter to America. So he kept that word, and he made him marry her here and bring it in America. And he always very helpful for everybody. If anybody comes from India and they say, I need Paul Bhai, I need a job, he used to say, come my home. He tell me, teach him and keep in our home. We teach him the word, and always he used to help people all the time. Anywhere people come, he just used to tell them, come home. And my sister-in-law was a great sister-in-law, like a mother. She always looked after us, always cooking food for us. And they both was like a parents to us. And she was a very, very loving family member. When she go to India, she never act like she came from America. All the time, wherever she goes, so everybody likes her in India too. They're both very great person for us. And when I married and I had kids, and my other brother Arjun, he invited him to, he bring in America too. So I bought a house, so he told me, go ahead and buy $1 million house. I say, I don't want that big house. And he never said no. I want to buy a car, so he's always used to tell me buy a big car. And he, for the family, always, he never said no. If anything anybody wants, he never say no. And in his store also, when he buy, every year he buy a new store. I said, why you buy all his store? He said, we are 6 brothers, so all his store, one for each of them. And every time he look up for all the family he put together. And even before he leaving the cruise, Friday he told me, he was telling me do this, do that, and I said, my brother, why are you going for 25 days? This is too long for you. He said, no, I come back, he gave me all the responsibility in business. He trusts all the brothers. He never asked, what you doing, what you making, and never. He trusts everybody, family. And I was with him in the New Zealand all the time. And he bring my nephew to here for studies. And my nephew, he went Georgia Tech, and now he is working in IBM. When my sister-in-law mother called me when this happened, I called India and I told my doctor brother and my nephew this thing happened. Same day they came to New Zealand. But this brother Subhash went there and Arjun went there, and they were all the time with him. And I went this month on January 14th. When I went, he was awake up. He was looking at everything, and he was like his eyes had a tear. He was like a crying. And I told him, everybody like you, everybody love you. And my nephew told him, you take care of me, everything, so you're like my father. He left his IBM, he works in IBM, he's an engineer, he left his job. This project was like 6 billion going on. He said, he don't want to work over there no more, and he didn't go to New York no more. He said, he promised my brother, I'm going to stay your home, take care of all the kids. We all promised him, like you kept us like a unity, we're going to keep like the same thing. We're never going to distribute anything, we're going to keep your word, we're going to act like you. And all the brothers promised him, and over there, 50 days he fight. Doctor says, this is a great guy, he's very strong, he never gave up. His mind and his heart is very strong. Only the thing, his body was not giving him support. And then when I went, doctor told his kidney is not working. Even we never thought like he's going to be go down. Every day doctor, nurse come and give us an update. They used to say he's going to be better, he's every day improving. And like 3 days ago, late night they called us 4 o'clock in New Zealand. We were in a hotel all the time, me, my other brothers with him and my nephew. They said, come quick. They said he got getting more infection inside, so we guys into this area, and we were all the time with him. Even the last day, he was open his eye, and doctor said, you need to tell true about your sister-in-law. So my nephew told our sister-in-law is no more. Then he started crying, and he never closed his eyes that way. He didn't get even medicine. He was never asleep. He was up, and he was crying all the way for my sister-in-law. He was loving very much to my sister-in-law. And the last day, I told about all friends waiting for you, this, and he cried all day. He never closed his eyes last day. Whenever even they gave him medicine, still he didn't sleep the day, all day. The last day, doctor told us this is I think the last day today, because his day by day his organ getting failure. Kidney, liver is not supporting, but he is still a strong guy. We'll never see like this guy who fighting 50 days like this. And the last day, doctor says stay with him, so we stay with him, all brothers with him, and we pray with the shivling he had. He all used to carry all the time, gold shivling. We kept in his head, and we pray for him all the time. And he was crying all the time. I mentioned all his friends' names, Amir Bhai, Lara Bhai, Mohammed, and he started crying all day. And then, like the evening, 7 o'clock, even he wasn't giving up anything, but doctor said, we don't want to give him suffer more. So they stopped little medicine, and he closed the eyes on 28. So I just came last night from New Zealand. Now my mother and father, we were showing every day video, kids and all. Whenever I showed him, his face was changed and he was start crying all the time. And he never gave up 50 days. He was up all the time. And we promised him all, brother, we told him we're going to keep as is, like you was doing. We're going to do the same thing what you was doing, and we promised him, like used to, drop my kids like all I was dropping, and my sister-in-law was speaking. We were a very united family. And I'm thankful for you guys coming here in difficult time and support us. Thank you very much.
It's not easy, very close to your brother. I want to say thank you to each and every single person sitting here on the behalf of Pratap's family. We can talk all night, all day, whole month, years. It's not going to be over. Just keep praying for his family, for all these three cases, brothers, their wives, especially the mom and dad in India. At this time, I'm going to request family members, all the family members, Pratap's, Kevin's family, please come over here, and we're going to start the process. We're going to take the flowers, give your regards to Pratap, and we're going to start from this side and out from their side. And please, I'm requesting everybody, every single person, make sure you drink or eat in the back a little bit, because Mayuri, we call her Annapurna all the time, because she never let anybody go hungry. So please make sure, this is what I'm requesting everybody, before you leave, have a cup of tea, glass of water, snacks, whatever is there, we have to do that. We're going to start from the people who are standing first. Yes, one more thing, that the funeral is going to be arranged in India, February 5th, right? February 5th. If anybody wants to join for that, please let us know so we can make arrangement when you arrive to India. We will give you all the information you need. So with that, thank you very much. So the family, please stand here. And please, you guys stand. Pandit, you have to do something.
Purohitam yajyasya devavritam hotaram ratnadhatamam om sanah pite vasuna vekre supayano bhava satasvana swastai om swasti no minita mashvina bhaga swasti devya nirvana swasti pusha asrod bhatuna swasti dyava prithvi suchetuna om swastai vayu pavamahe somam swasti bhuvanasya yaspatihi brihaspati sarvaganam swastai satyadityasu bhavasuna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare take snacks and tea before you leave. Please take tea and snacks before you leave.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. आप लोग हरे राम करिए।
Parmatma ki jai, Gopal ki jai, Pratap Singh Chauhan ki jai, Govind